Welcome to episode 2 of this Give Me Grace project. I'm Alan Hansen. This is Nolan Mickelson. This is his brainchild, and he brought me along for the ride, for which I'm grateful. Nolan, what do you think about the first episode?
Well, let me say again how grateful I am that we were able to get this off the ground. A lot of shows don't make it to episode 2, so I think
It's true.
we're at a milestone. I thought it turned out pretty much the way I would hope that it would turn out, and an hour and 40-something minutes.
Yeah, 144 minutes. Yeah.
But, I don't think that we could have really taken anything out. I think that we left in everything that needed to be left in, and so far we're getting a lot of good comments and feedback, and people are excited to star in their own episode now. So
Yeah, I think that was a success there. We had some people want to come in after listening to the first one, which is good, better than the opposite.
Yeah. So coming up tonight, in just a few minutes, we'll have the first guest of episode 2, and we'll see how that goes, having the three of us talking back and forth. But I was just excited to watch it. The production, I think Omar did a good job, and I'm excited to see how we can continue to make this work. It's like airplanes on a runway now. We're getting people wanting to get their turn. So
yeah, it's nice.
That gives me a lot of hope. So it's gonna be a little interesting. You got your Grace hat on.
That's why I put it on. He graduated from Soda, right?
Yeah, but which year did he?
After freshman or sophomore? After sophomore, because he was on our football team sophomore season. He was on the JV. Oh, there he goes.
There he is.
There he is.
Gentlemen.
We can't hear you though. We can't hear you.
Go
on the bottom and hit the audio and join it.
We can't hear you. Your lips are moving, but we can't hear you.
Oh, here we go.
It's working?
It's connecting. It says he's connecting to audio.
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the chat.
Sorry about that.
Not at all.
So
it's pretty cool that you're doing this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you see us well enough? Everything seems to be working fine.
I'm trying to see which one you are back there in the backdrop.
Oh yeah. He's got
you on the top row,
right over his shoulder. No. Do you see yourself third from the right?
No, I can see you guys great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the chat. Welcome to our project called Give Me Grace. People that know you will know that you are not a Grace High School graduate. So
true.
The first guest on our show about Grace High School graduates is someone that didn't even graduate from Grace High School. But Give Me Grace means that we're giving you grace.
That's right.
My folks didn't give me an option. They're like, you're out.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually wanted to graduate from Grace.
Guess what?
Nobody wants to move in between their high school. I finally settled in. So no, I would have stayed, but circumstances did not allow.
Well, here you go. This what I'm holding in my hands.
Yeah,
this is your honorary diploma from Grace High School. So
feels good.
Now you're an honorary Grace High School graduate, class of '89.
Awesome.
I like it.
35 years too late, but oh well. So we want to dig in and learn about what you're doing now. So Alan Corky, how do you know him? Do you know him as Alan or Corky?
Mostly Corky. Yeah, but I can do both.
No, Corky's fine. This is a Corky zone, I think, here.
All right.
I have a few of those in my life when I'm around family and so forth. So
he's going to start out with the questions.
Yeah. So, Rob, tell us where you are right now. Where do you live?
I live in Highland, Utah, and Highland is North Utah County, nearby Alpine and Cedar Hills. So, yeah, north end. We've been here 10 years. When I started my career, we moved here and moved to Saratoga and did 12 years there. And about 10 years ago, we moved to Highland. So we kind of done half and half, but both Utah County. Yep.
Awesome. So, what do you do?
So I'm a pilot for SkyWest Airlines. I fly regional jets made in Canada, and I've been with SkyWest for 24 years.
Okay. So in the past, now we saw each other. When was that? About 5 years ago? Something 5-6 years ago. I should have looked in our chat to see when that was. But you flew into Helena, and I went and picked you up, and we went and chatted.
Yeah, I'm so glad we did that too.
That was fun.
I thought a lot about that, and that was a lot of fun. It was good to catch up with you.
Yeah. So you at that time you had a route that took you to Helena, right? Pretty frequently. Is that how that worked?
Possibly. But my schedule back then was such that I had to spend nights on the road, and I don't do much of that anymore. I try and bid daytime trips that let me sleep in my own bed.
Nice. Okay, so give us an example. Where have you been?
Our airline flies all of the continental U.S. and Canada and Mexico.
Okay.
So I've been to just about everywhere.
All right. Very cool.
You know, a lot. I've seen it all. Life on the road. Yeah.
Is being a pilot stressful?
Not really. No.
Just the landing.
If you're good at it. Yeah.
There've been days, but those are pretty few and far between. What I was going to say is, so we get flight benefits. You know, you can fly space available and travel the world, and all I want to do is stay home. I fall asleep in my own bed.
That particular benefit's wasted on Robert Pearson.
It sucked all the life out of me the first 20 years when I had to live on the road. So yeah, I'm kind of a homebody, but it's been good. It really is. It's been a good career. A little hard on a family, but as your seniority increases, then because your wife has to be the plumber and the electrician and the disciplinarian, and so yeah, not for everybody.
Yeah,
that dovetails right into what his next question is. But before we get that question, you got to tell us your craziest pilot story or something.
I was just telling it just a minute ago.
Well, here we go.
When Angels got my plane off the ground when I was down in southern Utah. I mean, everybody has maybe one or two stories where they just wonder, wow, I'm glad that all worked out. And I did have a couple of those. So if my son pursues this, I will share those with him and let him learn from my mistakes, and hopefully he won't do that. But I've had very few scary things in airlines. It's just so strict and rigid, and so it's safe. I mean, it is just they over the years they have just reeled it in, and they've got so many things to make flying safe now, and so yeah.
Good.
Very good. There you have it. From someone who knows, flying is safe for everyone who might doubt it.
If you want to have an accident in an airplane, you have to fly every day for 38,000 years. That's what they say.
Wow, that's
38.
That's something to shoot for.
I don't want to have one.
All right, Rob. So tell us about your family.
So I married Kimberly Clegg from Soda Springs, and she's a 88 graduate. And we got married in 96, so we're coming up on 30 years. And she's just been so fun. We've had a great time together. We have 4 kids. My wife, by the way, she's a dental hygienist 1 day a week. But we have 2 girls, 2 boys. So Lauren is the oldest at 24, and she's trying to get into a radiology program. She likes health and fitness, and she's a real joy. And then we have another daughter that's 19, that's a little spicier, and she is a cosmetology major. She just graduated, actually, and so she's doing hair and nails and various things. And she's a lot of fun too. We have a son that's 16, turning 17, and he'll be a junior next year, and he's a super good kid. His name's Max. Now he's the one that thinks he wants to be a pilot. I haven't encouraged any of my kids to be pilots. He just decided that. Anyway, he likes sports. He's played basketball. He's a real good basketball player. Played football and did about 8 years of soccer. And my last one is a car guy. He's a 12-year-old. And I showed Nolan, but we have a car that we're trying to fix up a little bit. So we had fun with that. And he likes motorcycles, and we have a lot of the same hobbies and interests. So it's really been fun. We almost didn't have him. We were going to quit having kids. He came along when my wife's 42. Yeah, as a family, we like to go to the outdoors. We're going to go up to Redfish Lake next week.
Hold on. We'll get to that.
Tell us about pets.
Okay.
You have any pets, Rob?
I'm not really a pet guy, but I've had a whole bunch of those things encroach upon my space. And one's a dog and 2 uninvited cats. I share the house with them, and most of the time we cohabitate pretty well.
Very good.
So, Rob, is Kim right there?
She is not far away. I could grab her.
Do you think she would want to do
You
a
wanted to
cameo
see her.
real quick? Just to say hi.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So many of us know
Yeah.
Kim.
She will. She'll come over.
So many of us remember Kim. So that would be cool to have a very special
she's
guest,
coming.
just for a quick
She's
shot,
coming.
just to say hello.
Yeah, she's a lot easier to look at too. So
So when
she's coming.
when Robert moved to Soda, I still sometimes went up there and was the third wheel with him and Kim riding around in his green 56 Chevy.
Yes. That's so true.
Hello,
There she is.
there's Kim.
Hi, Nolan. Look
Hi.
at that cute picture behind you.
Can you see Rob?
Well, okay. Like I have 54-year-old eyes, so I'm like,
Am I in there?
oh, now he's
Yeah,
got a
the
different.
bottom row, third from the right.
Okay, switch it around. Switch it again. Because you got some
Take a
cool
look.
disco stuff going on right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I go back
There
to
you
that.
go. He's bottom. Did you say bottom right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
Like-
there I am. Sure
Yeah.
enough.
That hair parted in the middle, right
He
there.
still has that shirt.
He's next to JJ Donnelly.
Oh no, there was probably some
man.
mischief happening right there.
JJ
Could have
Donnelly.
been.
Yep.
So what are you guys doing? Are you planning a party?
No, we're planning a party. We're doing a podcast series, and Robert's our first
What?
guest.
Yeah, we're going to interview all of the
What?
graduates. Well, Rob's an honorary graduate, but all the
Yeah.
Grace High crew, 50 some odd people.
He's honorary. He got his GED a couple years
right.
later.
We just, yeah. By the power invested in me by Mrs. Lloyd, we just gave him a.
That's so funny. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I have a story about Mrs. Lloyd that I'll tell later.
Oh,
Yes.
there's a perfect
Perfect.
place for that. Awesome. Can't
Well,
wait.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. Good luck, guys. Have fun.
Thank you.
Right. Like and subscribe.
Fun.
All right. So, tell us what you did after high school. You've hinted at 96 and forward. What about between 89 and 96?
So I had an addiction, skiing.
I remember that. Yeah,
Yes, you saw it firsthand
I did.
at Boise State.
Yep.
So I burned about 5 years just trying to ski as much as I could. And thank goodness I burned out and slowly found my way back to reality. I went on a mission. I went to Louisiana, 93 to 95, and then came home and started school again. Started getting serious about flying. I was dating my wife on and off all through those years, though.
Okay.
And she wrote me while I was in Louisiana.
Awesome. And where did you go to school?
Go ahead. I went to Boise State right out of high school, and then I transferred to Utah State, and I went to 2 years Utah State. Then went on the mission, then came back and started at Utah State again.
Okay. Very good.
And so I ended up finishing up at Utah Valley State College because
That's right.
they had an aviation program there.
Awesome.
And then your first job,
My first real job,
so you went to pilot school, and then what was your first job out of pilot school?
so I was a flight instructor while I was finishing up my degree, and then I flew cargo out of Boise in it's called a Metro liner, nighttime cargo flying, making $60 a day, and I did that for a year. Got on with SkyWest. It's just poverty wages, on the front end,
And you're just accumulating hours. You're just building up hours.
Right. But I already had once you get to SkyWest, you don't need more hours. You just, you're there, but they still try and starve you to death. So we lived with my mother-in-law for 2 years, sadly. My wife's the youngest, and she had an open basement. And we saved up money and then bought a house there in Saratoga.
Okay. Very good. Awesome.
So what is your favorite food?
I heard something recently that made a lot of sense. It said, I don't know the true meaning of happiness, but I've never been sad in a Mexican restaurant.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're no one share that.
How I feel.
That's good.
And I like Indian food too.
Huh? Spicy, both are spicy.
Yeah.
Is the Indian food there where you eat spicy?
It can be.
Yeah.
It's all in what you request.
Yeah.
I've had it so much so you can't even taste what you're eating.
Yeah. They like
But
it.
living in Louisiana, living in Louisiana for a couple of years,
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
I got used to a little bit of spice.
Very good. Music. What do you like to listen to now, and what did you like to listen to when you were in Soda Springs cruising around in your green 56 Chevy?
And Nolan knows all my music because I listen to all the same stuff he did. But now, back then I liked probably some cutting edge stuff. But the kind of music I like now, I find myself listening to a lot of classical music. When I'm at the gym, though, I like a little louder, maybe some Led Zeppelin, or I don't know, something that has a little motivation behind it. But I like a lot of different kind of music. And my son's been bombarding me with country music lately, and I even hate it less. So
very good. I don't think country music even made an appearance in our first episode when Nolan and I were talking about music.
Yeah, I would.
Didn't.
It's funny. All these high school kids around here think it's the hit, so they like it.
So,
and I usually don't get to control the radio anymore.
Right. So you said right now a little bit of Led Zeppelin, but in high school, if you had to pick one band or one artist who would have been in 1989?
Oh, that is tough.
Or two?
Yeah. So I listen to the Cult a lot.
There we
I
go.
listen to skate music.
Oh,
All that music. Yeah, it's all garbage. There's no talent in skate rock. So I listen to a lot of that. Wasted all my money on that stuff, but you know, I like it. Just the timeless Led Zeppelin. I liked it back then, and I'm really never tired of it.
there you go.
So, but yeah,
Good to know.
yeah. There's
So-
not much music I hate.
Yeah. What is your favorite beverage? Take it whatever you want to say. It's your favorite beverage.
My daughter turned me on to all those poppy sodas. I hadn't had soda maybe 10 years, and now I'm drinking those so-called healthy sodas.
What is that?
They're not
We don't have that in Texas.
so they're stevia sweetened, and they say they're probiotic. Anyway,
Gotcha.
yeah. But I'll have a soda every now and again. But I just drink a lot of water, you know, most of the time.
Yeah. You were about to dive into hobbies, so now the gate is wide open. Tell us your hobbies.
You know, I just like spending time with my wife. That's probably my favorite hobby. I like motorcycles. I like cars. I like bikes. I do all that with my kids, and I ski and snowboard. But I really just like spend time just around my kids and my wife.
Mhm.
So just kind of cherish that time.
There you go.
So
I hope to become a avid fisherman one day.
I tried that.
I
Yeah.
know a couple places. I know a couple places where you could drown a couple worms.
Yeah. Down by your old farm.
That's right.
So you have this trip you're taking next week. You're going to tell us about. Where are you going?
My wife's brother, Jeff, runs Redfish Lake Lodge in Stanley,
Okay.
Idaho.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we try and go there at least every other year. And so we have my son's birthday is that week, and we're gonna take some wave runners and go up there and spend a week.
Nice.
That sounds miserable.
So we have a cabin. Yeah, yeah. We'll hike, and they usually have bicycles and kayaks and all kinds of fun stuff. But we enjoy that. My oldest daughter has worked there many years, but she's not working there anymore. But she'll come along.
Awesome. That sounds
So,
great.
Good opportunity to see family, and it's a beautiful place too.
That is a great part of Idaho for sure. My dad lives in south of Salmon, so we get over to Stanley once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great area. All right.
So thinking of your favorites that we mentioned, if you went back 35 years, how much of some of these things changed, or how much are they still the same things?
Well, in priorities,
Have your hobbies changed? Your favorite foods, the music you listen to, what you drink? What did you drink in high school? 89.
Coca-Cola.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now you drink
Coca-Cola.
stevia.
I'm in it for the long haul. So the things that I eat and drink aren't quite as fun. I'm just trying to stay healthy. I have to pass a pretty tough medical every 6 months.
Oh, wow.
And I still have 12 more years that I got to do that. And then my kids are just mean, and they're always trying to beat me at everything. And so I'm trying to keep my game.
There you go.
So when you ski, are you a leisurely skier, or do you find that you access your early 20s and go hard when you ski?
So we've been getting together, all my crazy ski buddies, We try to do it once a year, and um, you try and get like 20 days into one, and I can't believe nobody's been to the hospital. It's just it's so irresponsible. Anyway, no, we're probably slowing down a little, but I almost had to go to the hospital because of a residual thing, and I didn't even know it had happened this last time that we went. So maybe I will slow it down from here on out. So,
Are any of those ski buddies people from Caribou County?
all of them.
Okay.
Oh, really?
The old gang, huh?
Yeah, they're all Soda Springs class of '89.
Call them
So
out.
it's Will Thursby.
Oh, Thursby. I remember Will.
Thursby. It is Rob Harris
Yeah.
and a kid named Mike Lee, and then Sean Lavity,
Yeah.
and a kid that's a little bit younger named Darren Berg. And that's the most of who usually shows up. There's a few other stragglers, but yeah,
That's
you probably know
core.
most of those guys.
Do you still have any contact with JJ Donnelly?
I'm on Messenger.
Okay.
And so every once in a while, I'll shoot a message to him, but I keep tabs on him because his uncle and my brother-in-law Jeff, that runs Redfish, were really close friends,
Okay.
and so we keep tabs on him. And he got in a really bad motorcycle accident recently, and so I was kind of monitoring and hoping everything was going to be fine, and he's come out of it all right. So as far as I know, he's doing pretty well, but he's living in Boise.
We're going to want to see him on this podcast eventually. So.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
That's one story you don't want to miss.
That's right. Must see episode. JJ. Very good.
Right.
So
He hasn't changed.
Is that right? Yeah, the motorcycle accident is a clue, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's all right.
He's still one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
He's just so fun.
Yeah, he was really, you were around him and just life, just everything. He was something.
Nobody is more creative in speech and description than that guy. You would think he was genius. I mean, I listen to his mind and his verbiage, and just never disappoints.
Well, we know who to go to when we get ready for the JJ Donnelly episodes.
That's right. The JJ experience. Very good.
Yeah.
So let's talk a few things about Grace. How about did you ever attend Thatcher, or was it always Grace? Like an elementary school. Did you go down Thatcher ever?
He moved in middle school, right?
Was it middle school already?
I moved in 8th grade.
Oh, was it?
That's when I moved.
Wow. I thought you were there for longer.
So I went all of 8th grade, freshman, and sophomore year.
Oh, okay. Seemed like longer.
Yeah.
I could have sworn you were elementary. All right. So this picture's from 8th grade, and this was your first year in Grace. Where did you move from?
Southern Utah.
Oh, okay.
A little town called Panguitch.
Oh, yeah. Went through Panguitch just recently.
My dad, that was his first year teaching, was my 8th grade year.
Oh, wow.
He just changed careers.
I had no idea. I had no idea that he was a new teacher. That's something.
Yeah.
Very good. So who are some of your favorites? You mentioned Mrs. Lloyd. You have a story about Mrs. Lloyd, so this might be the place to tell it.
Craig was definitely the favorite. I got to give a shout out there. But Mrs. Lloyd.
Yeah.
Your
dad was a favorite of a lot of kids. Your dad was a favorite of a lot of the kids. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe out of fear. So anyway, I'm on a flight and I'm out in Omaha. And who walks on my flight? Mrs. Lloyd. And she looked at me with my pilot attire and was just speechless. I'm pretty sure the prayers were said once she found that out, because she only knew me as the junior high kid, straight C student. And anyway, we had a good laugh, and everything went well. And then we visited afterwards, and so kind of fun to see her. That could have been 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a while back, but yeah,
That's
a
awesome.
She looked a bundle of nerves at first.
Oh, she stayed on the flight. That's got to be a compliment.
Yeah, that was something.
Is there something from your time in Grace that you think about regularly? Or
I was
even
asking
in
my
high school?
wife about this, and it's mostly just people, just friends. Living next to Nolan, it was so fun. He and Sean would come pick me up and haul me to school. I think a lot about time with David Shaw. I spent a lot of time with David, and I was over to your house over just amongst that neighborhood. There's a lot of fun people. So it's mostly just people. I got my car when I was there, so a little bit about that, but mostly people and friends, and wondering where they're at and how they're doing.
Yeah. My mom took us to Idaho Falls to pick up your car.
I told my wife that story today, and that was special. In fact, I think back and I just think, who does that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was special.
That was a little bit of a trip to go pick up a car, but
Like 2.5 hours, 2 hours. Yeah.
I remember us staying over at your place once, Rob. Did you guys lived on that main highway for a while, right? There by
That was my
Niter?
eighth grade birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been it. Okay. Yeah, like it was a sleepover.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember getting up, and I don't remember if we even talked about this when we met in Helena, but I've been remembering this. I remember in the morning coming out and watching your dad with one of your younger sisters. You have a gaggle of them, as I recall. And your dad was with your younger sisters, and he was so like sweet and tender with her. And it's like almost a core memory of what a tender father looks like. Because my dad wasn't. He got there as a grandpa, but really wasn't as a dad. And I looked at Craig and I was like, wow, that's a tender moment. Even my stunted 8th grade brain recognized it. I always remember that.
I'll have to share that with my mom. She'll like to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remembered that as you were bringing that up.
So how are your sisters doing? Are they spread around?
They're all doing great. Yeah, we just got together. The fifth sister just got married. She's 45, and it was her first marriage up in Midway. So we all had a big gathering up there, and they're all doing good. Yeah, kids, a lot of kids raised, some still being raised, but they love to gather. One sniffs out that there's going to be something going on. They're all there every time.
That's awesome. So does something come to mind, a story that involves others from that Grace group? Can you think of a particular story that stands out for you?
One time my mom went out of town, mom and dad, and we all went to the Flume, and I was all about 80 pounds. And I'm with JJ and, all the people that I should definitely have caution with whatever we're doing.
Not go to the Flume with.
But usually you don't. So we go to the Flume, and it's very high. The water is just, it's gushing. And so at the end, it was swirling. And JJ, and if you can imagine this, JJ was bigger than me, and so is David Shaw. And all these guys who were, they'd already hit puberty and they were just big. And I was 80 pounds. And I got whirled around in that thing for about 45 seconds thinking I was going to die. And I was ready. Like, this is it. I'm done. Roy Matthews comes down the flume, grabs hold of me, and just rips me out of there. And I get to live to see another day.
How about that?
Roy Matthews.
So I was thinking about that. Yeah, I always tell Roy anytime I bump into him, thanks for giving me a few more years.
There are a lot of people around Grace who have a story of a Matthews boy pulling them out of some danger with their strength. This is probably a very common story.
Yeah.
I think that happened with me too when I was younger, when I lived over by the Matthews. Something similar.
Good people.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk. We have a grab bag of questions now, I think.
But we didn't. I don't think you meant to miss it, but he didn't talk about any of his high school teachers. Did you have?
Oh yeah, what about your high school teachers? Yeah, do you remember? Even from Soda too. We know them, most of them.
I'll tell you this. I'll just say Jackie Thursby. Because she kind of believed in me, in my artistic ability, and she was patient with me. But one day she said to me, she said, you would get along so well with my son. And I was still living in Grace, and I thought, what do you know? Anyway, I move over there, and I am not kidding you. It was the first day of school, and Will brings me home to their house, and I had to eat crow. She was right, for the better or the worse.
I should have mentioned Mrs. Thursby too. I had her.
She was
freshman English, I think, and that same thing. She believed in me.
Yeah.
And I started writing in high school, and I think it was because of her. Yeah, that's a great one.
She's one. If she's still around, I'd like to get her on the podcast eventually too.
She's a professor in Iowa, last I knew.
BYU. She did about 15 or 20 years at BYU, and they live right here in the valley.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
She's
awesome.
still alive.
How about that?
That's two people that you're gonna have to help us get onto the show.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
awesome. Yeah,
So,
very good.
where were you when Napoleon Dynamite came out?
So I was one of the last people to see Napoleon Dynamite. And my dad and my little brother just kept telling me, oh, you got to see it, man. It's weird and it's funny. And I thought, well, okay, I'll go. Well, I flew all the way up to Winnipeg, and it was the feature in Winnipeg, Canada.
Wow.
And so finally, after that, I thought, well, yeah, I finally went and saw it, but my kids love that show. They just think it's the funniest thing. And so,
What about you? Are you a Napoleon fan, or you don't like it?
no, I like it. I think it's fun. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
And I like how it creates a hero. Yeah.
Did you spend more time at the Bluebell or Turner's Cafe?
I didn't even go in Turner's Cafe,
So
but
Bluebell.
I saw every time I needed to go find David Shaw, I had to go to his house.
What game was he playing if you saw him there?
Punch Out.
Punch Out.
Yeah,
I
a
don't know.
lot of punch out, lots of dig dug.
Big
Yeah.
Doug. Yeah. And he played pinball too a lot, right?
He had them all mastered.
Yeah.
Bluebell had the best pinball game. That blast off one, it was so fun.
Oh yeah, I do remember.
So
Yeah.
this is an interesting question for you. We thought we would ask people, did they spend more time in Soda or Preston?
I guess I have to go.
I think so.
Gonna be soda.
So one time, I'll tell you this just real quick. Ryan Andreasen took me to Soda, and I hadn't been to Soda. And he took me to a basketball game. I'd been there a handful of times, so I didn't spend time there. And he was interested in Natalie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And Natalie Brown her best friend was my wife. And so I got to meet my wife. And this was a year before I moved, and then at least 2 before we started dating. So that was kind of fun.
So sometimes things work out, like you said, you didn't get a choice where you graduated from high school, but maybe there was a little bit of a reason.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Did you spend more time in Pokey or Logan?
So I was Logan,
Yeah.
but I did go to Pocatello too. And I'll tell you this, my wife and I lived in Pocatello shortly after we got married, and we loved it. My wife was finishing her hygiene program, and I was just flying, and we had a really cute place. Really enjoyed being in Pocatello.
Yeah. Not Chubbuck.
I have a sister that lives in Chubbuck.
Awesome. So do I.
Yeah.
So that's 4 people now that we know that live in Chubbuck.
Yeah.
Any other questions, or are we ready to move to the next?
Yeah, I think so. So Rob, what's something that we might not know about you?
That's kind of a tough one. I was asking my wife that.
You don't have any secret.
She said I don't have
Open
any
book.
secrets.
Open book.
Maybe we should ask Kim that question.
All the things that you don't know, you probably shouldn't know.
This is why this question section is called introspection. You have to think about your internal darkness and what's going on inside of you.
Rob, you told me a really interesting story when we were together that about you getting in a car accident after high school.
Yeah. In fact, Nolan knows all about this. I got hit at the side of the road, not far from Nolan's house, and I got life flighted and was in the hospital for a week. But his dad had stopped to help me because I had stripped a lug nut. And anyway, long story short, it wrapped a whole bunch of people that I hadn't been around for quite a while. They were all part of it. And 2, Newbury kid and then a Rasmussen kid also were part of the accident. But we all ended up being fine. All 3 of us were getting ready to go on missions. So it's pretty miraculous, actually, that we came away from it.
I remember you said when you told me about that it was mom's prayers pulled you through.
Must have been. Yeah, it was pretty incredible that we were all okay.
That's awesome. When was the last time you were in Grace or Soda Springs, for that matter? Do you still have people there? You or Kim?
We are all gone except my mom's cabin that is out in Rasmussen Valley.
Oh, okay.
So we try and go there once a year, but my wife's father passed away a year and a half ago, and we were there for that. And so we stayed at Nolan's farm
Not anymore.
one night.
Well, it used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his old place. We stayed one night there, and it was in January, lots of snow. And that I think I've been through there one other time since then, but that's the last one that I really remember. And I like going back. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I found the same thing when I'm able to. So, with the passage of time, what does growing up in Caribou County mean to you?
My wife and I have talked about this, and there's just a lot of opportunities for kids and sports and school involvement. That we're in a 6A school district here, and you have to play semi-pro basketball to even be looked at.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. That's one of the things that I really liked about being from a small town and a small school. You get to play offense and defense. I mean, there's some really cool things, and you create a lot of your own fun and throwing snowballs at cars, and I don't know. It's just a whole different dynamic.
Is there anything from your time growing up that you would do differently?
Yeah, I would, if I could do it all over again, I would definitely branch out and get to know more people and just be kind. Especially to those that don't have quite as many friends. You always think back and you just think, oh, what happened to that individual? And no, that's what I would do. I would want to be a friend to everybody.
That's excellent. That's excellent. My dad told me once, I was telling him that I regretted something in the past. And he said, that's good because that shows that you've grown. The people who don't regret anything are the people we have to feel bad for because they haven't grown past it. So I always put regret in that box of, okay, maybe I'm past that one.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've changed from back in your Caribou County days?
Oh, the way I spend my time, my focus, priorities, they're all different. When you're growing up, you got aspirations that are probably mostly fleeting. And most of the things I care about now are family and just the lasting things, the things that have true meaning and longevity. So I like old cars, and I just really enjoy building or seeing an old car. And that's what I wanted to do, no matter what. And in a matter of about a year, my dad, my grandpa, and my best friend died. And after that, I just thought, oh, gosh, everything can go pretty fast. I better change my priorities and my focus. And so I did some of that. And if I can't spend time with either my kids or my wife doing something, I usually don't do it.
When that happened, you had all those people die in that short amount of time. Did your hobbies or family buoy you up in the times where you needed them to, or what was your go-to to get through some of those challenging days?
It was really good to have my wife and family to go home to, and that made it so it was very bearable. But I have a lot of faith, and so that's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Watching my mom too, she was just so strong. I mean, she lost her dad and her husband within 2 weeks, so it was pretty big. But yeah, the priorities change, and your focus, you just kind of enjoy every day, and the way that you give your time is different. I try and give my time to things that are that's meaningful and that's family oriented.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
you had a tough patch, but I think that's kind of a theme that we're finding is that we all have some challenge, maybe others more challenges than others. But
yeah.
on a lighter note, who is the most famous graduate of Soda Springs High School? Any idea?
Probably Kim Clegg.
Let me ask if you've heard of a guy named David Archer.
Oh, that's right. You told me about this.
Archer Field? I got to play on Archer Field. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Let me tell you this. So I've been working out at this gym nearby, and I just met Jared Levitt.
Yeah.
And I had heard of him. I knew of him. but he just came up to me one day and we got talking, and he told me who he was. And he's got a son in the NFL. He played for BYU.
Yeah.
He's pretty incredible. He may have gone on to play pro ball, but he got hurt.
That's right.
And so he's a class act. I really like him. Just a nice guy. He's probably about a 84, 83 graduate.
Okay.
And I think he's as cool as about anybody that's come out of there.
So we were talking about Grace High School class of 89 was somewhere between 50 and 55 kids. We're not exactly sure. How many graduated from Soda in 89?
About the same.
Yeah.
I think it was 56.
Okay.
Right about 56, 57.
I think our senior year was Soda's first in our division, as I recall.
Mhm.
It had been higher up, I think,
Yeah.
until then.
Before you go, Rob, anything you want to say before, any words of wisdom or last messages you want to share with us before we sign off?
So this was one thing I was thinking about. I moved there in 8th grade. Nobody wants to be remembered as an 8th grader. And I'm not getting at that. What I'm getting at is you guys were so kind to open up and allow me in. It was a small community. It's pretty tight knit. And you guys, I mean, there was nobody that edged me out. And I just got to thank you for being kind and allowing that. It's not easy to do. It's not really natural, especially when you're that age, and you guys did it. I mean, here, for my 8th grade birthday, or my, I would have been turning 13 probably. I had a whole house full of kids that came and stayed, and I hadn't even been there a year. So I just really appreciate all of your kindness, and that's everybody. And welcoming my family and I as we moved in. So that was really special.
Thank you. Yeah, we loved your family. I had your dad as my freshman football coach. I loved it. He was one of a kind. Loved your family. So it was certainly great from our end too.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you putting this together too. It's fun. I didn't get to see the whole first episode, but I'm going to watch all of them. And
Awesome.
It's really cool that you guys have been willing to give your time to put this together. So
the common denominator, we're finding out, and this is only the second episode, but some of the same things that we shared in the first episode are the things that you shared as well. That 35 years ago, we didn't think of these kind of things, but now we're thinking of what's important: family, taking care of others, being kind to people. We didn't think of that when we were in high school, but now, well, I guess you say that we did as 8th graders. We welcomed you
did.
But so yeah. I think there's a common thread that we're finding, and that's kind of why we wanted to do this.
Now there was a lot of self-interest in our welcome you in, Rob, because you were so cool.
Well, here's the one thing, and I don't know if you still do it, but you were the best breakdancer to ever come through Grace, Idaho. So
I was jealous of Rob's dancing. I remember that.
There wasn't a lot of competition.
I can vouch for that.
And it's really not anything to be proud of.
Hey, in the 80s? Come on. Was there anything better?
Oh, hey, it's coming back around though.
There you go. So now you can teach your kids.
I know. Anytime, I'm sure I'll end up pulling a muscle, try to show off for my kids.
Well, it's been really nice to catch up to you and see you in person instead of just chatting with you over the phone. But
yeah, it has.
Thanks to Kim as well. Special shout out to Soda Springs High School for letting us know you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. I once again, thank you. and wish both of you guys well. Hopefully, we'll get to meet up. I'll do my best to come to the next reunion. I've only been to
hopefully
one.
I
hopefully
haven't
we'll
been
have
to
one.
any of them. That's why we're doing this, because I live in Texas. I don't make it up there enough to go to the reunions.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if we can
Yeah.
make something happen.
Okay, that sounds good.
Take care.
Okay, well, wish you well.
Thank you.
Thanks. Likewise.
Thanks again.
Yep.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm.